Alrighty, and we're back after a little nap, a little snack, and okay, so let's see, let me reload my stream manager so I can actually see what I got going on here, see chat, all that stuff. Alright, I want to start this stream off with a little update here. So last night, I forgot to record last night's 4.5 hour stream, so that will not be available on YouTube. I am currently recording this stream though. So two, since most everybody missed that one, I had one guy pop in close to the end of the stream and I missed his comment until his chat message until I think he'd already left, but he did follow, so if you come back, thank you. And I will try to do, actually right now I'm going to pop out my chat and I'm going to drag that down here beside of my work area on my other monitor, so that'll be a little more readily available for me to notice. Okay, and then next thing I want to get out of the way here is the project I'm working on. This is Hydra tanks. I started this, here's the original project in an older version of Unity. I did about 2 years ago for a game jam, for Game Dev TV Game Jam, I believe. Here in the title, it was the GameDev.tv Game Jam 2022. This was a 10-day jam. I've participated in this one every year. I probably will again this year. The theme for this jam was Death is Only the Beginning. I put that right there on the title screen. I'll just go ahead and run through a playthrough real quick on the old one, and it had a very, very basic menu. You could start a game or quit, and you could restart when you if you died. So new game, you just drive your little tank around. You start out with one enemy spawning and you can destroy them, and I'm gonna run up here in this corner. So when you kill one, two more pop in every time you kill one. So if I kill one of these guys, I'm gonna wind up with 3 on the screen very quickly. I have a little health bar attached to the back of my tank, and there's pickups here, and I got a repair, thankfully. You can actually destroy, as you can see, the environment a little bit, and it's you have to be within range, and they have to see you for them to shoot you. They have to be aimed at you to shoot you. But basically, I'm just going to die here real quick. I'm noticing the game volume's a little bit loud. Okay, so I died. I got 4 kills. That's my score. I go back to main menu. I don't have a restart button on this menu here. I'm going to go ahead and just exit that. So that's the game I made in 10 days. So during this time, I had actually started a bachelor's degree program for software development. I actually have this game running in the background. I didn't mean to. I'm trying to get an error to repeat itself is what I'm trying to do in here. And it's not cooperating for some reason. It's kind of weird. I don't know if I need to get it to recompile or what. Let's try changing some code real quick. So anyway, back in 2019, I started a software development degree program. Actually, I originally started in a degree for computer programming, and then that one got phased out, and they started a new software development one. So I switched to that. And I'm about to finish that up. So for my senior project, I'm taking Hydra tanks and I'm rebuilding it into a more complete game. And that's what I'm and I'm live streaming my development of it. So obviously the first 4.5 hours was missed. I want to change something. Obviously changing that script didn't work, but that's the one I want to point out here in a minute, that I found a fix for an error I was having last night, and I wanted to get that out there. So let's see, what can I do here? So we created this script yesterday for the menu system. It's fairly basic so far. It's got a few methods for some functions that some buttons can call, or methods that some button clicks can call, and we're just assigning the events in the Unity editor to call those methods. Where do I want to add something here? I need to get this to recompile. Actually, let's go in the game manager, because I'm gonna break this here in just a minute. So I don't need those in the game manager. So let's save that. Let's see if it'll recompile now and throw an error. Okay, I know about that. Well, that threw an error because I didn't finish updating the script. So let's go down here, and actually I don't need pause, unpause, or main menu in the game manager. I don't need start game. Actually, this should be on a start method. So I need to, yeah, this should actually be start, not start game. Yeah, so I want to, and this should just be void start, and we're just going to move this up here after awake. And I don't need that commented line, and I don't need this commented line, and I moved this input to, that update method isn't going to do anything right now. We'll probably wind up deleting it later. I don't need the quit method, and I think I can leave that in there for now. And I can take this out. So yeah, that simplifies that a lot. We'll just save that. Okay. Actually, I don't even have a reference to score, so we can get rid of that, and actually we can get rid of this, and yeah, this was all relevant to the game manager doing other things in the original version. Yeah, I'm just going to clean this up real quick. So anyway, yeah, I'm making the Hydra tanks project. Let's see, I don't need this. I need, yeah, I'll keep the game over delay. I am probably going to get a reference in here to, I don't need to enable controls. I handled that differently. I do need a reference to the, no I don't. Menu system is a, let's see, serialized field. I think I put this in here just for the sake of being able to see my kill count in the inspector. Don't need this. I don't think I need this anymore. Spawn an enemy. We have a, Spawn point array. Why do I have add to queue? I'm not sure. Not sure what I was doing there before, but anyway, this should get the errors to go away. And where did I? Oh. Okay, that's my shoot input. That's fine. That's on player inputs. This is a different script that I screwed up whenever I altered the game manager. Okay. So that should finish compiling. Okay, now if I run the game, it should do some more recreating the domain, and then that may throw my errors that I had. Apparently not. I got a null error check now on HUD line 38. Game manager.kill count is null. No, it's not. It's right there. Tanks destroyed dot text equals game manager. Wait a minute. All right, what do I have null here? Hold on. Object reference not set to instance of an object. Oh, I think I know what it is. My UI manager. No, it has a reference to the HUD, which is just this stuff. What's null? Line 38. Object reference not set to instance of an object. Tanks destroyed dot text equals game manager. Game manager, find object of type game manager. That may be null. Did I remove game manager from here? I think I... No. Oh, because it's turned off. That's why. There, we do that. A restart. Select level, start. No, I still got that error. My tanks destroyed dot text is not referenced, apparently. HUD. It's literally right here. Hold on, let me try it. Let me try going into the scene. What I'm trying to do is recreate a oh wait, I need to enable it here. Save that. Now if I run my game, it should actually load the menu first. Or will it run the open scene? No, it's running the open scene, and I can't do that. So I gotta go to main scene, and then run. Select level. Whoops. Back button works. And that goes off. That delay is a little bit long, but that's okay. Also, I apparently forgot to save my camera setting. And I do need to disable controls whenever the pause menu is open. Main camera 10. Save. Okay. Select level, start. I need to fix the layers on my bullets. Okay. Yeah, I do need to fix some graphical layers. I'm playing on the regular, or my new project now, not my old one. Okay, so I got an error now on my game manager where something is out of array, and I think that's because I haven't added spawn points. I have not added spawn points to wondering why I did add queues here. I must have something else that spawns the enemies that I don't remember. Let's see. My spawn point has a... I have a spawn queue. Okay. Yeah, I think some of this functionality is actually going to get moved to the game manager. I'll have to review how that works. Okay, so anyway, I still have not managed to get that other error to come back up, which is kind of weird. Any rate, I was getting errors related to A-Star pathfinding, trying to do some updates, and what had happened was it was referencing some kind of an update method that was being called, and it kept saying that what it's doing, sorry, let me find my right window here. What it was doing was trying to make a web request to check for updates. So in player, here's the solution to that problem if you happen to run into it. So this is the A-Star pathfinding issue, and maybe it's because I have an older version. I didn't get the newer version right now, but in the player settings under other settings, so if you have this screen, other settings, go down and find configuration. There is a setting for allow downloads over HTTP, and this works across all platform builds, so Windows, Linux, WebGL, Mac, whatever you're building for. I don't think it's a good idea to allow that myself. It might depend on what your project is trying to download. For testing, I guess it would be okay if you're going to have it do it on a test server, that you're not going to bother, you're running it locally, you're not going to bother putting SSL certificates on and all that stuff. If you wanted to do that, I guess that would be fine, but generally speaking, I would not have this happen. So I would not allow it, but this is causing a problem in the update checker for A-Star pathfinding. So if we look in that script, the problem was in line 37, and I've already got my updated thing here, but this was just calling an HTTP link to get the version to see if there's an update. So what we actually have to do is what I did to fix the error, which now ironically it hasn't come back since I undid the fix. But so if I save this, we want that HTTPS right there. That's literally all we had to do. So I actually don't even need this line anymore. But yeah, all you had to do is add that S to the link to the URL on line 37, and that fixes it. So all right, that's saved out. I'm going to let that recompile and go back to my scene view, and then we can start working on the game again. Okay, so The next thing I want to do is I want to get the input system, and I should also say I'm going to be going for probably about 3 hours or so in this video live stream. So for whatever that is worth to you, if you want to stick around the whole time or whatever, that'd be great. If you like, I should say, if you like this kind of content too, the development and watching troubleshooting and all that kind of stuff, just go ahead and hit the like or follow or whatever button depending on what platform you're on, and you get notified whenever I go live or put out new videos or whatever. So I'm going to try to go live as often as I can doing this. This week I'm actually off work, so I'm just kind of trying this out. But what am I looking for? Unity registry. Also, I think I'm going to want Cinemachine, so I'm going to import that as well. Where did that go? I thought I just saw it. Cinemachine, install, and input system. I gotta wait till the other one's done. So, yeah, so I'm going to be live streaming this week, I think pretty much every day the rest of the week, and then, or as long as I've got work that I'm going to do on this project, and then after that, it's probably not going to be super frequently. So I'm in week 4 of my first 4-week class from the capstone project for school. After that, I have so I have my next class is 4 weeks of senior project 2, which is the remainder of this project development, and then I have one more class that will run me through May 19th that will complete my degree program. And I'm just going to keep working on games. What is this? Project is using new input system package. Native platform backends for the input system are not enabled in the player settings. This means no input from native devices will come through. We want to enable the backends. Doing so will restart the editor. Yes, we'll do that. Okay, and minimize that right now. Just waiting for Unity to come back up. And so, yeah, I'll be doing live streaming like this as much as I can for development. I have other projects that I'm going to go back to as soon as I get Hydra tanks out. So the plan for Hydra tanks, let's talk about that for a minute, is to get this to a single player full game state by the time I finish my senior project class, the next senior project class. And so that'll be in about 4.5 weeks. And then so I'm also planning on probably this weekend getting the Steam page up and running for this, because I'm going to release it on Steam after the class is over. And then I'm going to start work immediately on an update to add multiplayer. So I will have to finish going through a tutorial for some of that stuff because I have not implemented multiplayer yet. So with scheduling and work and school and all that stuff, we'll see if I can get that done within 2 months, but I'm going to try. The goal for releasing that update will be about the time I finish school, or at least within a couple weeks after that. So that all being said, I'm not releasing this for free like I did Puzzle Cube, so I'm planning on the single player early access release being probably $3 price point, and this is USD in case you're not from the United States. So, and I'll let Steam adjust that however they need to for other areas. That's fine, but $3 USD price point for the early access with a $2 bump at full release with the multiplayer. So in the event that I don't get multiplayer figured out, which I will, but in the event that something happens and I don't, maybe I die or something, I don't know. Sorry, that was morbid. But so if something happens, I can't get multiplayer out, then you only paid $3 for the single player version, and you're not, I'm not charging you for what I would have charged for the multiplayer that they wouldn't have gotten out. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. At this point, I don't have anything even ready to go for Steam yet. So let's go back to our project. And I need to cough. Okay. So we got our input system in here, and I think we needed to do, yes, so there's a little thing here we have to replace the input system with that. We have a default input actions. We're just going to work off of that one. And then there's a player input script. And I think, is it the, oh wait, I know what I need. Is it this I need to open, or is it this? It's this one. There we go. Input actions. And I like to dock that right here with my console, audio mixer, and my input actions. So I've got these move, look, and fire controls built into here. And we're going to be looking a lot at our player object and the scripts. So actually what I want to do, I'm going to be testing this in play mode a lot. So a couple things I need to look at. Let's go look at our scripts. We had the game manager had a pause control. We're not going to worry about that right now. Player inputs. Let's move some of this stuff around. Why is my HUD UI thing broken? How does UI not exist in the project? That's interesting. I know I don't need those. Why does UI not exist in Unity Engine? I have this open in my new, or my current project, right? This is, yeah, I have the old folder. This stuff is in, that's fine. Is this open from the other project? Shouldn't be. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So when it restarted, something broke. I'm not sure why it's not recognizing this text class. Huh. So I have an error there, but I don't have an error here. That's kind of weird. So what happens if I try to run the game? I don't get an error related to the text, the HUD, and it works. That's very strange. The only error I get is related to the spawn points. So my inputs still work because the old input system is still what I'm using in the code. And actually, I want to change something. I want to change this from both active input handling to input system package new. And then it's going to restart the project again. And I've got a little notification doohickey down here on my chat settings for Twitch, and I don't see anything. I think it's saying I got some newer options that I haven't explored before. It's trying to get me to look into this shield mode stuff. Channel modes. I don't want shield mode active right now. I want anybody and everybody that finds my stream to be able to chat. So we're just going to leave that alone for now. Alright, project is back opened. Oh look, it fixed that little error thing. Okay, so go back to scene. Now if we play, I don't know if things will work. They might. They probably won't actually. Nope. I got errors. You're trying to read input using input class. You have switched active input handling. That's kind of what I was going for. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to get I'm going to clear that. I'm going to look at this, and I have to remember how to implement this. So I have my player inputs. I want to actually change this class name to input manager. And I should have an option to rename a file. Maybe it did it already. So if I look in here, I have... Okay, it renamed it to input manager. Cool. Okay, so let's go back in here. So one thing I'm going to need is let me think here. Let's just call it private. Is it player input? I'm just going to call this input. And then in awake, we're going to say player input. Nope, not player input, just input. Still having the problem where I can't see to type behind my microphone. Input equals find object of type. Not sure why. I can't do, yeah, at the rate. That. Actually, no, we're going to change this to get component. And then in my scene I'm going to create an input manager object, and I'm going to attach that player inputs script or component to it. So in my scene, I'm going to create empty. We're going to call this input manager. Not input, input manager. And that's not what I wanted. Go back out. I don't know why I was double clicking that. So we want to add component, input, player input, input action asset is going to be, let's go back to our event system. We're just going to take our default input actions and we're going to put those right here. Okay. And then I've got, I'm not too worried about the input settings. Yeah, put that back on player, go back to scene view. Okay. Default scheme, I think I'm going to make keyboard and mouse. So we have control schemes all. So for keyboard and mouse, we have a player and a UI action map. And then we have a gamepad player and UI action map. I'm going to put this back on all. I'm going to do, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that on any. That's what I'm going to do. So we have UI, we have navigate, submit, cancel, point, click, scroll wheels, mouse devices, basically. So for track device positions, that's an XR stuff. So we automatically have XR support. Navigate, we have gamepads. There we go. Yeah. Joystick. So we have gamepad, left and right sticks. We have a D-pad and we have a joystick. Up, down. Okay. So yeah, so let's go to player, and then we have move, look, and fire. So move, we're actually going to rename look to aim. And then, why did that not change? Is it because it's the default? There, it changed. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be the right stick or delta from the pointer, which is the mouse, which we want that. Left stick is, let's see, so move is left stick, WASD on the keyboard, and then we have XR controller and a joystick thing. That's all fine. And for fire, we have right trigger on the gamepad, left button on the mouse, touch screen. Probably will never use that. That could be interesting if somebody tests it on a touchscreen laptop or something. If that causes weird issues, I will delete that control. Trigger on a joystick and primary action on an XR controller. Okay, so in our inputs, I had a few things. So we just run an update method that says get body movement, get turret movement, and get shoot input. Very, very simple. So this is where we also want to add a UI thing for the pause button. So we want to do I'm actually not even going to make a separate method for it, I don't think. I think I'm just going to add it in here. So if player input, not player input, if input dot and I think there's an on action triggered. Now we also have I gotta think here. So input is a player input component. Input dot enable should be true. And it probably already was, but input dot actions dot action map. Let's see. Current action map. Wait, actions dot action maps. I may have to go look at a tutorial. me see here. I'm trying to remember how to set this up. Let's do this. Let's go back into here. And so there's a default input actions and there's a player input. Input system actions. No. Control processors, devices, that's editor stuff. Utilities. README. Let's go with that. And okay. All right. I'll just bring this down here. So let's see, input system. Install it in a project. Okay. We did that. We did that. We did that. Installing samples. We're not worried about that. Workflows. Actually, what's concepts? Okay. I should probably read that sometime. We're going to go to workflows. Directly reading device states. Using embedded actions. Using an actions asset. This, I think, is what I want to do, not this. This is what I was in the process of setting up, I think. Let's look at this. Use the input action class in your script to define actions. So adds a layer of abstraction between your actual action code or methods, the bindings of specific device controls. Yeah, we don't want to read device states directly. I want to check for a specific action name, not the specific control. Let's see. Creating actions, creating actions in code, default actions, using responding to actions. Input action, move action. This is not how I did this in other stuff. There's multiple ways to implement this, and I've got to. There's a simpler one, and I'm trying to find it. Let's go back to the top. Okay, so we're adding the actions here. Yeah, I know about all this. Those are already existing. Using input action assets, auto-generating script code for actions. Okay. So we need to generate the C# class in the importer properties. So if I go here to this guy, apparently I already have this. Default input actions. This is the asset. This is the C# class. So I think this is what's generated with the importer. Let's keep reading this. So auto-generating and I'm getting notifications. Okay. Nothing that matters at the moment. So let's see. Apparently, so how do I use this with just using the defaults? Oh, wait a minute. Using action assets with player input. Player input component provides a convenient way to handle input for one or multiple players. Requires you set up all your actions in an input action asset, which you can then assign to the player input component. Can automatically handle activating action maps and selecting control schemes for you. This is what I want to do. Okay, I don't want invoke Unity events. I think I want this. Send messages. Okay, open input debugger. Devices, keyboard, mouse, and that's fine. Okay, we get inputs. That's not so much a question. Default map player. Okay. Our event system uses a default actions asset. It doesn't ask for a default map though. on that one, so that's a little different. Well, that's the UI input module. Okay. Yeah, so my input manager, we're going to use the default actions. Which I think has generated this. So if I let's see, use game object to send message, for each individual type of message, C# events. UI input. My player script. I'm looking for examples of how to set this up. Oh, let's see. Player input manager. No. Right-click the input actions in the project browser and choose re-import. See, this still has that look in there, and I renamed it to AIM. And it won't let me duplicate that for some reason. Oh, it's read only. We'll just do that. Okay. I'm going to rename this to look so I don't break that. And I'm going to close that tab. I have player input actions, and that's the one I'm going to go with. So, I broke something. Oh, that's my input manager that has an error. So, if input dot actions I don't think that's what we want. So, not that one, this one. See if that clears this up. Okay. I actually want to move my input manager out from old scripts into there, since we're reworking it. Let's see, let's go back to here. I want to change this to player input actions. I'm not concerned. Default map is going to be player. UI input module. I mean, my event system can be switched to use my new one. That's fine. We have one main camera. Don't know why that matters, but it's there. It probably doesn't. I don't think I've ever had to do that before, but it's fine. Okay. So my input manager has an input actions and oh wait, I also need an input actions script on my input manager script on here. Which also has a reference to the camera for some reason, but whatever. That's fine. So we have on shoot on. Oh. Okay. So now we have. Huh. Is this maybe supposed to be, instead of player input, supposed to be input actions? Nope, that's not a thing. Or is it player input actions? There's a player input actions. Okay. So then if input dot player dot, actually we can say dot UI, so what options do we have for that? Submit, cancel point clicks. Actually, I'm not even going to put it there. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to add a new action. I'm going to call it pause game. Well, we'll just call it pause. Our binding will be keyboard and mouse. Our path will be keyboard. And they've messed up this thing for some reason on the I actually want the escape key to be the thing. I think I have to type it. No, there's a specific way to type that. Let's try that keyboard slash, and I got the wrong angle bracket. Escape, because for some reason so okay, like these that should say escape on the keyboard. So okay, so that says keyboard up arrow S, left arrow. I wonder if escape needs to be lowercase. Yeah, I can see this. Wait, here we go. By character map to key. Doesn't have a character. Location, escape. That's what we want right there. Okay, so it's escape with keyboard in brackets is the path. Okay, so we got our escape key, and then we also want to add an action, or a binding, I'm sorry, for the gamepad, and we want to do, I don't have my gamepad plugged in. Yeah, I'm not sure what's broken on this editor for the input actions. That's like a new bug. we want the start button. And that's just a generic gamepad control, so it's it should work for Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. Okay, so we got our pause button, and I'm going to save, and we're going to go to our script and say if input dot player dot pause dot was pressed this frame, and it's a method, and we say this, and then we say menu system dot instance dot pause game Okay, now here is actually where we do want we want to track whether the game is paused or not. So we just want to do a private bool is paused. Okay. Actually no, that needs to be public because we need to change that if we click on a button in the pause menu to resume or to you know what, we're not going to put that in here. We're just going to take that and put it in the menu system. So we're going to do a private selected level and a public bool is paused, and I don't want this, I want this, and I want get and set. Okay, so because what we want to do is on our inputs is we want to say if the pause button was pressed this frame, and I put this in completely the wrong place, I need to fix my indentations. There we go. Now I've got Unity events for on shoot, on move body, and on move turret. So that's interesting. I think I set those up on the actual player object though. On shoot dot invoke. Oh, I have a tank controller script. Okay. So this is listening for those events. I think. This says, wait, no, on shoot dot invoke in the tank controller. Okay, this is strange. I feel like this is duplicate. This is handling, okay, this is handling the reload timer. Handle shoot. Yeah, this is what happens when you haven't touched a project in 2 years. So this is actually handling the shooting part and the move vector, turret movement. That's interesting. We may combine these two scripts at some point. We'll see. So we have, if player pause, let's push this frame, then we're going to say if menu system dot instance dot is paused, is false. What in the... There we go. We're going to pause the game. Else, we're going to resume game. Oh, wait. No, we really only want to be able to do that if we're on the main menu. Or on the pause menu. If we go to settings, we don't want to do that. So do I then need to create states of what window is in front? I feel like I'm overthinking this. So, I have another question. On my UI controls, what kind of weird thing is that? Anyway, on the UI controls, submit is mapped to any. Cancel is mapped to any. That doesn't make sense. So that's kind of weird. I have another question. So my first selected on my event system should probably be the start button or the level select button on the main menu. Let me plug in my you know what? I don't know if I have it handy. Oh wait. Somewhere in here I have another controller. Found it. I just gotta get it out of the bag. Okay, I have invalid operations. That's fine. Let's see what they actually say. Trying to read input using the input class, but you've switched to... Oh, I remember what that's about. And I have another one too in the input manager. So let's look at that one first. Okay, so vector3 mouse position equals input dot mouse position. So we want to change this to lowercase I. Actually, I don't even have to do that. I can say mouse dot current dot position. I think. Cannot implicitly convert type vector2 to vector3. So that's okay. We just change this to vector2. And cannot implicitly convert Unity Engine input system controls vector2 control. So we change it to a vector2 control using input system controls, and our mouse position Z is no longer relevant, and we do this here, return that. No, we don't. Okay, cannot convert from controls vector2 controls to vector3. Mouse world position. I don't need mouse world position. I don't think. Maybe I do. Nope, let's do this differently. So vector3 mouse position. Well, first of all, I misspelled position. There's another way to do this. Okay, so let's do this. Mouse dot current dot position I wonder if X is a thing here. That should be a float. It says access control. X dot value. Okay, let's do this. New vector 3. This is a little bit of a hacky way to do this, but... And then we say... We want the Z, so copy... Actually, no, it'll be the Y value. And then the Z value is just going to be main camera near clip plane. And then we don't actually need this line here. So we're getting a vector 3 from our mouse position X and Y, and the Z is the main camera dot near clip plane, and then the mouse world position is a screen to world point based on that mouse position, and we return that. So that fixes that error we were having there. And then this one, I'm using a get down key code escape pause game. So again, that was temporary. So we can get rid of that. And stop running the game, try running the game again. I got one more error in the input manager. Get component requires the requested component derives from mono behavior or component or is an interface. Okay, let's try that. I feel like that's a thing. Nope. Still says line 74. Oh. I never changed these. Okay, so movement vector equals okay, so that should be input dot player dot move. Dot read value vector 2. And actually, this should just return. Hang on. Return, should be input dot player dot aim dot read value vector 2. So where am I calling get mouse position? Line 61. Well, that's right here. So literally all I need to do is this. And I can remove that entire method. So okay, so wait, I'm creating Unity events in this input manager. But the tank controller, handle shoot. Wait, so input dot, so I need to change this to this input dot get mouse button down 0. This should be okay. I think I'm starting to see what I did here. For now, let's just do this. Input dot player dot what was it, fire dot was press this frame on shoot invoke. Right, so okay, well, first of all, here's a good point of reference. The player object on my old project has a tank controller script that has 3 new Unity events, and when it does on shoot, on can shoot, on can't shoot, it changes some things about the tank. And my player input is attached to the same thing. So my input manager should actually be attached to my player, not to the yeah. Okay, so the input manager should be attached to the player object. which is a prefab. We can have it pull the camera from, we're going to instantiate a player instead of having it exist in the scene, I think. Because we're going to, well, maybe, we'll see. And for some reason I've got these methods here that don't actually do anything. Not sure what or the immunity events that don't do anything. I'm not sure what the deal was with that. Okay, so I think I see what's going on here. Alright, so back in my new project, this input manager needs to go away from here. It actually needs to go on the player prefab. And this, I don't think I had a player input actions. Well, it will now. So I need a player input actions, and I need a input manager script on my player object. So if I go to prefabs and I go to player, I have a tank controller, which is fine. I have a damageable, which is fine. I have this destroy helper, I think has to do with if the player dies. The input manager has already actually been replaced, so I think I just need to add the player actions, or input actions, not player actions. No. Player input. Where'd it go? There it is. And then the input action asset is player input actions. And turn that off. Okay, so essentially we're going to have player inputs we're going to have the input manager that uses a player input, and we're going to have the tank controller that responds to that, and then we don't need to worry about our capsule collider or a rigid body right now. That stuff should be fine. We have references to all of our parts of our tank, and on can shoot game object. Can shoot indicator. Okay. Yeah, we're turning that on if we can shoot. On can't shoot, we'll turn that off. Okay. We have an on reloading event that doesn't actually do anything. So we may clean that up. Potentially we can actually get the thing to move now. Maybe. Okay, controller things aren't functioning exactly. And neither is the keyboard at this point. Okay. Alright, so the inputs did not work as expected yet. I may not have finished hooking stuff up in here. It's just, for the time being, we're going to do this. So I have a get movement, so if input player fires, press this frame. Input equals new player actions. No. What input dot enable? Input equals new player input. Is it player input actions? Where's my... Because I created a script, basically, from... Yeah, player input actions is what I want. New player input actions. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. New player input actions. Input action input dot enable. And we need an on disable. Input dot disable. Anytime you have an enable or disable or a subscribe or unsubscribe event, you need to handle those both ways. Okay. Maybe now, I think. If our keyboard works, our gamepad should just work. And it's giving me a fit. Input manager 2132. Hold on. Create scriptable object instance from type is not allowed to be called from a model behavior constructor. No. Okay. Input dot or input equals our game manager doesn't have a component of player input actions. It should just be get component or find. No, it should be get component because it's attached to our player. Also, I needed to change the delay on our menu system to disable the screen reloading. I'm just going to change it to 1 second. Let's see. The should not need a reference to the game manager in the HUD, or in the input manager. Oh, I referenced it in the start, or in the awake method, and I forgot to take it out. Extra white space there, leave 1. Okay, let's see. No errors. Okay. This needs to go away. Our player has an input manager attached to it. Okay. So this one we're not worried about. This one and this one we are. So player input actions does not derive from mono behavior. So I can't do the get component. So my object reference not set to instance of an object, input manager line 30. That's because it's not cannot convert component to player input actions. Come on, give me a auto. Get component play. Well, that's, yeah, that I can't do that. Alright, let's go back to my reference. Not that. This. Oh, let's see. So wait, do I just need to add I feel like I don't need an input manager. I feel like this stuff could happen in the tank controller. Also, my indentations are off here. Let's fix that. Yeah, I feel like right here we could just add our player action stuff. So we have Unity events, on shoot, on move body, on move turret. Wait a minute. We have tank controller. But I had an error. Because it wasn't comment that out. That'll get rid of our one error. Yeah, I feel like I don't need the input manager. I feel like I can move all this into the tank controller and it'll be fine because it's not that big of a script. I've got extra white space for some reason and more notifications that I don't need. Yeah, I think I can put that stuff right here. Let me see what that player input action script looks like. This just defines in code all the stuff that we put in that asset. Let me see. So we have an I. Okay, we have an I player actions. Interface. That resembles what we're doing here. Now where they're getting my player controls, I don't know. In their example, let's just unless that's just a default name for a file. They show my controls here, but okay, this says my player controls is a C# class that Unity generated. So that's based on this. So my player script, this would be what I would do for my input manager as of the way it's set up now. Okay. Let's see. So let's do. Man, I've made no progress in the last hour. Okay. Well, not none, just extremely little. So let's go to our input manager, and then this needs to do an I player. Nope. I player input actions. And that doesn't make sense. I player actions. And then I need a using input system player input actions. And then I need to implement the interface. So I have an on move on. Okay. So basically on move would be if I were to put this in my tank controller. See, right now this is getting this data would be getting passed into on move through this whenever a controller is input or input is activated. So basically I could take this tank controller, handle body movement, and say this equals, I could put it in this on move and say this equals input dot or context dot read value vector 2. I think. So basically none of this needs to happen in here. Like, this script is pointless. I could do all that in here because I'm going to be doing this anyway. What's happening right now is this script is getting inputs, firing new events, or it was. Basically, where I have get shoot input would be on shoot.invoke under on fire. And then this tank controller script is actually supposed to have that assigned in the inspector, I think. So on my player, yeah, I'm basically telling that when the input manager script does stuff, and for some reason that's disabled. Yeah, let me look at my player prefab. Yeah, so this basically says it's calling the tank controller, which is this other script. It's calling the handle shoot method when I do an on shoot. This is redundant. That's completely stupid. And then I have an event that I set up in here where I set up the audio stuff to happen. But I really don't even need to do that. The muzzle flash is attached to this tank object. I can just assign it in the inspector and just set it active and deactivate it in code. This is dumb. I'm completely redoing this. I shouldn't say it's dumb. It works. It's a little unnecessary in my opinion. We'll put it that way. Okay. First, let's get things to move. And then, first I'm going to check this last notification. Junk email and a YouTube notification that I probably won't watch the video for. Okay, so I no longer need to see player input actions. My input manager is going to go away, like completely. It serves no purpose. Literally, I can just delete it. Yeah. We can go in here and go to the player and remove the input manager script and go into our scripts folder, player or input manager, and delete it. We don't need an input manager. We're going to have to refactor our documentation for that aspect of the code. I guess update the documentation would be a better word than refactor. That was stupid. Anyway, okay, clear that. Go back to here. Go to our tank controller. We're going to implement the iPlayer actions. We're going to do using player input actions. We're going to implement this. Where's the quick action? Implement interface. Okay. So we got these 4 new things down here. So basically, instead of having an update method, actually it's not even an update method. We just have, we had these methods that we assigned to that other thing. So, alright, first of all, on move, handle body movement. We're just going to say movement vector, which okay, we have a fixed update that handles movement. That's fine. So what we're doing is we're updating the vector, which the vector can be 0. So we're going to say in here, movement vector is equal to context dot action dot value, read value, vector 2, and then we do not need this. And then on aim, we're going to say handle turret movement. So we need a vector 2 pointer position. So basically, we're going to take all this stuff. We're going to cut it. We're going to throw it in here. And then pointer position is going to be context dot value vector 2 minus the transform position, and it's actually converting that vector 2 to a vector 3, but that's fine. The on fire, and then we can get rid of that. The on wait, yeah, no, okay, handle shoot is in on fire. So we no longer need this. And then our on pause, we're going to do if what was it called, menu system dot instance dot is paused, and we'll just change that to if that's false, then we'll say menu system instance dot is paused equals true after we say, actually I'm not going to set that to true in there. I'm going to go back into the menu system script and set that when we pause or unpause the game. So is paused is not what we want to change. We want to just call pause if the game is not already paused. So we'll save that, and we should be good there. I actually don't need to add anything else to this. We implemented the interface on from our player action script that we generated from the asset. So if I go look at my player prefab now, and again we'll update all that other stuff. Like all these have on shoot, on can shoot, on can't shoot methods. We can update all of that in this script. So instead of invoking on can't shoot, we can just reference, we just have to add references up here to the objects. I mean, this is a more programmatic design by if I add references to the game objects and then I turn them on and off in code, it's more programmatic and less game designer friendly, but I am the game designer, so it doesn't matter. So I can do it in code, or I could just leave it as is. It doesn't really matter. This is just as good. This is more designer friendly in that so you have an event that says you're shooting the gun, you can add a whole bunch of stuff in here in the editor. A designer can do that easier than they can go in and modify code. And this actually decouples the code from other things. Like, suppose you wanted something else in the scene to happen when you did something. Then it would decouple those items, or objects. So we can leave this like this. It doesn't matter. We could even add we could play an audio thing when the gun is reloading. If we wanted to, that's fine. Doesn't matter. So our input should work now. Okay, that didn't work. So tank controller dot on aim is not found. That's interesting. And on move is not found. Okay. So what this is saying, missing method exception, tank controller dot on move. It's literally right there. Oh, there's something I didn't do up here. That's right. So in our example, we had at the top my player controls. So the iGameplay actions, which in our case is iPlayer actions, implemented these public void on whatever methods. So what I need to do is set the callbacks to this and then enable the controls. And actually, I don't know if I need to set callbacks or not. Tell gameplay action map we want to get told about when action gets triggered. Okay, so this is our subscribe. So we have a new okay, I get it. Alright, I'm going to move this up here so I can see what I'm doing for the moment. Alright, so I need a instead of on awake or on enable, I'm going to do it in awake. So we need, first of all, a player actions equals, or is it player actions, or is it player input actions equal input equals new player input actions, and we say input dot input dot, is it set? Nope, that doesn't have a set callbacks. Controls equals new player input actions. Okay, so it might just be player actions, not player input actions. So input dot set callbacks, this, and input dot enable. That's where I needed to do, I need a dot, not a comma. Dot enable. Don't need to pass a number. Save. And then I need to, on disable, this is where I need to add that. So on disable input dot disable. And actually they have gameplay as the action map, so I actually need to do dot player on all that stuff. Maybe I don't. I feel like that should have let's see, input dot apparently that just is the action map that we're referencing. Okay, apparently it's just referencing that, so that's fine. So maybe that works. Okay. Object reference not set to instance of an object. Lines 44 and 50 are calling the enable. Actually, that's setting the callbacks. I feel like this should be a player input actions. Something still isn't exactly right here. Maybe. I broke something else. Hold on. Create scriptable object different instance from type. Player input actions is the script and the asset name. Okay, so they're showing controls, which is what I have as input. References their my player controls. Gameplay actions is an interface generated from the gameplay action map. We added note that if you call the action map, let's see, I'll put this down here so you can see what I'm reading. If you call the action map differently, the name of the interface will be different. So mine's player actions. Okay. So player actions. So I have player actions input equals new player actions okay. Tell the gameplay action map, so controls.gameplay. Now wait a minute, so they have, well, they're saying gameplay, so what's the my player controls? That would be the my player actions, or the player input actions. This should be player input actions. And then input should be new player input actions. So then it should be input dot player dot set callbacks, and then enable and disable. Maybe? I think that might be it. Okay, no errors on start. We can rotate the tank and drive, and we can aim. We do have a problem with the exact aiming. That's okay, we can fix that. Yeah, we have a problem with the exact aiming, but the movement works. Shooting works, even though it says the method's not found. And okay. I need to zoom in on my game and see if I can see if my little light is okay. Well, the sprite's not in the right layer, that's all. Okay, so we have errors, but it's progress. Alright, so we have, still says method tank controller on move not found. You know what? I think I need to, it says set callbacks. I think I need to actually subscribe to those methods. Okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to copy all this. And we're just going to open a new Google search and paste it in there and hit enter. Limit queries to 32 words. Well, that's stupid. Well, first result is Unity Forum, so let's see what that comes up with. Oh. I missed that little point. So my player input thing, instead of send messages, needs to be Unity events. And I'm not so much worried about the UI events. That might be like that because I have them connected. So those might actually, well, I don't know if it will or not, but anyway, I'm not worried about the UI events. So for these, I need to pass the callback context in here. Which is the tank controller script. Okay, that's weird. Every time I click to add a thing, it closes the UI. That's kind of stupid, actually. So we have an aim callback. I'm actually looking for... Okay, that's dumb. Let's actually go into the player prefab. Except I can't for some reason. There we go. Okay. So player input events. I don't really want to see the UI stuff. So player. Okay, now it's not collapsing every time I click a button. So I'll actually get rid of that and that. Okay. So on these, I want the tank controller to be the object. Technically, I could add that pause function to the menu system, but it's handled from a player input. Rather than, I mean, the button clicks, I guess, are from a mouse input, but that's beside the point. Alright, so for move, we're going to do tank controller on move. For aim, we're going to do tank controller on aim. Fire is tank controller on fire. And pause is tank controller. Actually, I could do... maybe not. Oh well. Tank controller on pause. So maybe that gets rid of those errors. Probably doesn't fix the actual movement and aiming and all that stuff, but select level. Okay, it does. Yeah, see, when I move the mouse to the opposite side of the tank, it should actually fix the aim, but we don't have errors anymore. Okay. So let's do one other thing here real quick, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. I'm going to change some of the sprite stuff in the player object. So we have, and actually it might be not even so much in here as in the prefab. So this the muzzle flash effect, I can't speak. We're going to change to effects layer, and I don't think we have to change the layer on that. I'm not sure. So our tank body is a character layer. The can shoot indicator is going to be a character layer. The turret base turret is going to be character layer. The fire point is fine. Muzzle effect, destroyed effect is a prefab. It instantiates. That should actually be disabled. Canvas, camera sorting layer, UI probably. The health bar, basically anything that has a layer that can be set, we need to change. Okay, I think that handles that. Now let's go look real quick. Let's go through our prefabs. So the enemy is going to be the same thing. Enemy tank body, characters, base is a transform, the turret is graphics, characters, the fire point muzzle flash effect is going to be effects, destroyed effect. Actually, I don't think I wanted to disable that on the player. Let's jump back over there, turn it back on, go back to the enemy. Player detector is fine. Canvas, UI layer, and that takes care of all of this stuff. Okay, so that's the enemy. Barricades, these are going to be obstacles, and that's pretty straightforward. We have destroy audio, a destroy effect, layer effects, fence, layer, obstacles, fence, layer, obstacles, Pickup is an item. Hit effect is a effect. HP upgrade is an item. I don't think I needed to fix anything on the audio other than we will add audio mixer groups. We'll get to that later. Same for the destroy audio. And let's see, HP upgraded, did that. Flash muzzle effect is an effect. Pickup crate is... Oh, we have sprite on a separate layer for some stupid reason. Item? No. Obstacle. I think. It's just a destructible obstacle. We did player, projectile, layer, projectiles. Uses the hit effect. That's fine. Yeah. And then repair is a item that drops. And we have a shoot audio. It's fine. A spawn point. We have to remember when we do setup to change the spawn facing direction. Enemy tank prefab enemy, and then trees are an obstacle. So at this point, if we play our level, all of our stuff should be back to where it was. Okay, so there's our actual level. And aiming does not seem to work. Yeah, so I do need to put that back in that one script, but we now have, we can move and all that stuff. Yeah, aiming needs to be fixed because I gotta get that mouse world position from screen point and all that stuff. So if I manage to get this thing, I don't know why I cannot get. Yeah, it has trouble with getting the mouse position. Yeah. So we have destructible objects as I showed you before. Yeah. Oh. So if I don't move my mouse at all, the tank doesn't actually aim. It's only when I move it that it's very strange. So I need to fix that method. But this doesn't open the settings menu yet, so we can actually do that. Where our pause menu, so let's see, we have our pause menu has a settings button that should open settings menu. So we'll do game object set active true. The settings menu, we already set the back button to turn off the settings menu. So we could test that real quick. So just like now in our main menu, we have settings, which for some strange reason is extremely large right now. I don't know what happened there. That's new. Why is that? Oh, I know why. This didn't get set to scale with screen space. 1280 by 720. Width or height 1. And this canvas should also be scale with screen size. 1280 by 720. Width or height of 1. And that should fix that. Now our settings opens the right size. Back button works. The high scores screen we didn't turn on yet. That's fine. Actually, we can just do that real quick while we're here. High scores button. On click. High scores screen. Game object set active true. And then on our high scores screen we have a back button that is going to set it to false. So now if we play, okay, we have high scores, settings. Now in settings we can adjust stuff, but it does not change anything. We can go to select level. We know back works, or start works, so we can go back. We still can't select this because there's no level 2. Yeah. So we just have to restart the game at that point. But if we select level 1, yeah, and we had an error, it cleared now, but select level 1, start the level, pause, settings. Now these volume sliders are all going to get tied into an audio mixer once we set one up, but I'm not going to do that right at the moment. And we can hit back and we can resume. We do need to set to where it disables the controls when the game is paused. So that's actually just, that's a very quick fix. So we can do that, I guess. So in our tank controller on shooting, let me double check something actually before I even look at that. That's not the button I wanted. Put my Steam screen away. Let's go, what am I looking for? Into our tank controller, and on all of our on aim fire stuff, actually, yeah, before I do that, I just want to do a quick test inside the level and make sure that when the game is paused, I'll just move outside the where the pause menu displays. Tank moves very slowly initially, and that's right behind the thing. We'll go up top. It's closer. Hit pause. Okay, the arrow keys do not do anything. We actually, if you look, we're changing the selected on the menu buttons, and we'll actually need to change that color so it's a little more obvious. But if I hit settings and hit enter, and now I can actually increment these, and I'll need to, like I said, make sure those selected is more visible. I went to back, and I can go to resume. Now it does not reselect resume after I go back out of settings, so I have to click on it. But the movement's disabled because the UI takes over. But that mouse button, the fire button, still does stuff. Well, right up until you actually shoot. For some strange reason, I think it's because it's at that point that the mouse, or the UI, takes over the mouse. So what I'm going to do is go in my scripts, and I'm going to say wherever we're calling that on move, on aim, on fire. Now our on aim, ooh. Now see, the movement vector is the one that we actually changed where we didn't use that mouse. No, it wasn't. I think this target or turret direction is what's messed up. Something in this doesn't work correctly for the on aim. With the vector 2 thing. So I need to work on that, but aside from that, the on fire, so we have an if can shoot. We're just going to add a if menu system dot instance dot is paused is false and can shoot. So now if we run this, it shouldn't shoot when we click the buttons in the menu once we're in a game, like in the pause menu. Also, I need to go into the menu system and set up the is paused is true and false stuff. So run up here once and hit escape. We're paused, but now see it still shot. It should not have done that. Oh, now I know why, because I didn't set that up in the menu yet. That actually makes sense. Menu system. So resume game, or let's see, pause game. We're gonna say is paused equals true, and on resume is paused. That's not the right thing. Put that over there. We're actually going to move this to here. Now our time scale being set to 0 is why that stuff all froze as soon as that fired. So it instantiated it, but it just didn't let it go anywhere. But that won't happen with the is paused being true. It won't call the method to instantiate. So, at least I think. I don't think there's anything else going on that I've missed. So, menu system instance is paused is false and can shoot is false. Set the reload timer, instantiate projectile. So yeah, save that, and then actually there's one other thing I need to do on that menu system. When we do quit to main menu, I need to do is paused, or I need to do is paused is false. So we're gonna set that right here, save it. And now that should fix that. Yeah, see this, yeah. here and we pause. See, it didn't fire when I hit settings that time. When I hit resume, it doesn't, and when I hit quit, it doesn't. So that's fixed. So yeah. I think that's gonna do it. We're just over 3 hours for our stream for this afternoon. I'll probably be back on late this evening to work on this some more. But we can navigate our menus. We haven't implemented multiple levels yet. That's fine. We fixed up some of our prefabs. We are going to be adding more prefab objects. We're going to we don't have enemy spawning turned on right at the moment because our scene level, and maybe that's what we'll work on tonight, is see if we go in here and look at our, and we actually need to rename that to level manager instead of game manager. Let me actually hide the stats panel from the view of the thing there, and I don't actually need the game display in this particular scene. So if you look at our game manager right now, we have the game manager script. I actually want to go ahead and rename this to level manager. And that should reflect here. Yeah. So this we just need to rename to level manager, and then that will get fixed. So we only have one asset reference, and that's in the level. We have two references to this. One is in that HUD file, which needs to be renamed to UI manager, and the damageable script where we implement the kill count. So those where it says GM, it needs probably changed to LM. So yeah, so like here we'll go to the top, and we have a reference. Oh wow, I got some weird organization going on here. I'll have to fix all this later. We have a reference to level manager. We're just going to rename that to LM, and that'll probably actually get renamed again, but for now that's fine. And then back in here we have one more reference, and that's on our HUD, and we will just also rename this GM to LM. And yeah, so this is just some little stuff we got to do along the way of refactoring everything for this new bigger project and using some better coding practices. Like I said, even though I just renamed those two things, this is still going to get changed, and I actually could do it now, but I'm going to be back revisiting this script, so it doesn't matter, because we're going to be updating other things as well. So when we get back to this, I'll refactor this entire script. Same for this. Because I think we're going to, well, we may or may not have to add more to that, but before we close the project out, we will revisit all the scripts and go through them and clean them up, because I got to document everything. I got to comment the code for class and all that stuff. So anyway, that's where we're at for now. And yeah, so this level manager object, let me just go ahead and change the name of this as well. It asks for that array of spawn points, and they are right here. So technically I could just go ahead, lock that, grab all these, and just drag them into here, and I can change my game over delay to like 2 seconds. Actually, that's too long. 1.5 is fine. And that'll actually fix enemy spawning at this point. However, we do have the problem where if we run the level, and I keep saying I'm going to stop and then I don't. I just get sidetracked on stuff. But if we run our level, it would actually help if the game view is a little bigger, wouldn't it? Let's move that, select level. I need to add some sound effects for the UI too. So we should get enemies spawning in. Did I get an error? I did not. Why did I not? Why did I get an error? Did I not do something else? Spawn point has a prefab. Spawn delay is 2 seconds. Wait. Did I do something wrong with this? Game over delay. I don't know why that was at 0. Maybe it's supposed to be. I just created all kinds of errors by trying to run in this level without the main scene running. Let's save that. Go back to main scene. Run the game. Okay, I got an error. Reference script unknown on this behavior is missing. Oh, wait. I think I know what it is. This has a tank controller script, but it doesn't have a player actions. It has an enemy AI script. Maybe that's why I actually had the input manager separate from the wait, missing tank controller dot handle shoot handle. Okay. Oops. Yeah. Oops. Okay, well, I'm gonna fix that later. Yeah. See ya.